Here with Mark Dibble, who is a senior technical analyst at Fidelity Management. And Mark, on this 40th anniversary of the MTA, I thought it would be interesting to get a perspective from Fidelity and the chart room that's well known across the street. And give us a little history, if you will. How long has Fidelity been utilizing technical analysis?
Technical analysis is actually older than the firm. The present chairman's father was a lawyer in Boston. His clients were fund owners. He had a lot more passion about the stock market than he did about being a lawyer. Bought the Fidelity Fund in '43, and he had a chart room off his law office, basically a broom closet full of charts. So the chart room actually is older than the firm, and has been a constant throughout 70 plus years of history, and like everything else at Fidelity, has gotten bigger and global and now is virtual. But technical analysis is very much alive and well at Fidelity. It's not something we use in our print ads, so it often surprises the public that we are big users of charts and technical analysis, but we are and always have been.
So as a technician in a buy-side shop, and one obviously that, as most of them, have a fundamental bias, how do you find people most effectively utilize technical analysis in their process?
I think it's probably best used at Fidelity as a screen for new ideas, and probably even more importantly, a risk management tool. We're a long-only shop. The bias of the fundamental research, which is by far the biggest effort at Fidelity, is buy and hold. So you tend not to get the sell signal out of the fundamental side of the equation. So I do a lot of meetings with portfolio managers where I sit down, I go through their holdings, look for things that might be vulnerable, and I go through their benchmark or their mandate, looking for ideas that might be better than their current holdings. So it's kind of a push-pull model.
And it's more of a relative shop, correct? That you're looking for relative performance?
Yes.
What are the challenges when it comes to managing or doing the analysis based on relative performance versus absolute performance?
Sure. Well, one of them is when the market's bad, the price charts are ugly, but the relatives are good. For example, a lot of the defensive stocks in 2007 and 9 had terrible price charts, but great relative charts. You know, put ExxonMobil at the top of the list. It got to nearly 5% of the S&P by virtue of going down less than the market going into the March '09 low. So that's one curveball. That's probably the hardest curveball the market throws at us in terms of relative strength. It is good relative, bad price. And right now, with the market back up to its old highs, it's nearly the opposite. You've got a lot of good price charts, but a lot of bad relative charts.
And do the portfolio managers buy into the relative price charts, or are they reluctant even on that score to endorse various equities?
I would say the more sophisticated portfolio managers at Fidelity, many of which are your client as well, are cognizant of the relative strength relationships in the market. It's more of a nuanced thing, I would say, for the vast majority of the portfolio managers. Increasingly, Fidelity is managing sleeved money, sector neutral money. So the 50 or so people at Fidelity who have got sleeved assignments are big users of sector relative performance, because it's kind of what they eat and drink all day.
And obviously the market dynamic in the last, call it 5 to 7 years, has been different than what most of us saw for the earlier parts of our career. How have those challenges maybe changed your process in technical analysis, if at all? Maybe it has not.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it has. I think our stock goes high, that our reputation is higher when we're actually in a more difficult market environment. Or to say the opposite way, the late 90s was a really hard time for technical analysis, because it was viewed that you just had to be kind of long only into the TMT trade, which worked for so many years in a row. So yeah, the idea of timing and selecting was really out of favor, probably for the industry, but certainly at Fidelity as well. So there's nothing like a good route to get people interested in charts again. But I think it's also been a good environment for technical. It seems like charts have worked the last few years. We measure our performance. It's part of our compensation. So I can actually quantify charts working versus not working, and that also is probably a function of whether portfolio managers are interested in what we're doing or not.
Great. Mark, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.